What's up, everybody? Nick back with you here from Project Central, and today we're going to continue working on the trailer. We're going to continue the build series, and if you've been following along, you've seen how we've taken this old junky 18-foot car hauler with a rotten deck, and we have redecked it. We've sealed the wood for free, which was pretty cool, and we added some great upgrades in the last video, including D-rings, this E-track, rear metal dovetail, which I'm sitting on right now. And in this video, we're going to do even more upgrades. We're going to fix the winch. We're going to build another drive-over fender to match the one that's on this side over here. And we're going to build a material lifting arch off the back. So let's jump straight into it. First thing we're going to do, we're going to throw some parts at the winch. Actually, I need that. I need that one. It's bad. As you can see, I've got some welding lead. The reverse stopped working, I don't know, a long time ago, and I had eventually just had to jump it across the terminals with like a screwdriver just to get it to suck in. So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that with this. It's another box that a friend gave me. He had a box of these, and you can see how nice and pristine that relay looks. Let's open this up real quick and I'll show you how messed up this one is. Okay. Huh. Yikes. That's really bad. You wonder why it doesn't want to work. I knew it had water in it, but I didn't expect it to be bottom of the lake. All right, there's a good chance this battery is dead, but let's see if it does anything. Okay, for real this time, I had the positive leads messed up. Let's see. Yep. Alright, I'm not sure what's going on with this winch. I'm going to have to do some more research, maybe order some parts. There's a good chance that the box of trash relays that my buddy gave me, the one I just installed, is trash. So I'm probably just going to order one real quick for the Amazons, and we'll see if it's here by the time I need to wrap this video up. Next up is the material lifting arch on the back. So let's get that knocked out. Let me tell you about why I'm building this material lifting arch. I'm not calling it a log arch. Usually that's what it gets called. First time I saw this was, there's a channel I've been watching for quite a while called Matthew Cremoa. I think he's in the Northeast somewhere. He's definitely up north of me. I don't know, East or West Coast. But anyways, he has this like urban logging trailer that's pretty cool. So he can go pick up big giant logs for his sawmill and load them up, you know, himself with just this arch and a winch. It's not a new concept, but I'm going to be using this kind of idea because I'm going to be collecting a ton of materials over the next year or two off of job sites probably, and I just want to make sure that I'm able to pick them up by myself, no matter what it is. Big old giant piece of pipe that I'm going to use, or sheet metal, or whatever. That's why we're fixing the winch and building this log arch, or not log. I'm going to call it a log arch, but it's really a material lifting arch. So now that I've got all my fab tools set up, let me show you what we've already got built. So in the last video, we added these receiver tubes to the back of the trailer. We added one on each side, and I did this because I knew I wanted to have the lifting arch. Right, I planned ahead. This is something I've been thinking about for a while on how to incorporate it in the trailer. So in the last video, we cut and drilled these 12-inch tubes, right? And we drilled them together so that they'll match up. Now let me show you what we're gonna do as far as uprights and cross pieces and hinges and all that stuff. All right, took a little bit of a break to eat some lunch, but back out here after lunch, and I'm gonna show you what's up. So I've got cold cut saw set up with a new pipe jack I bought. And this is kind of going to be the start of our build, right? So we're just going to do a super simple hinge setup here. We're just going to drill a 3/4 inch hole all the way through here, all the way through here, and then we'll take a piece of angle, cut it down, and attach it to here, or something. We might take another little piece of this tube, put it below, and then make a plate over here. I don't know. It needs to be pretty strong because half the weight of the whole thing is going to be on it, but it doesn't. I mean, a 3/4 inch bolt will be plenty strong. And then up here at the top, the plan is we'll do some sort of arch shape, right? So we'll cut in probably a 45 here, and we may even use some 2x3 tubing to go up, but I don't know. But whatever we do, we'll do some joints here, and then we'll cut some plates and fish plate it all, so it's super nice and strong. So that's the plan for this afternoon. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this other piece of 2-inch square tube, and I'm going to cut it down to 5 feet. That never gets old. Cold cut saw is just the best. Next up is we're going to take these over to the drill press, drill some 3/4 inch holes so we can bolt these together, and work on however we're going to do that. So let's go knock that out. Okay, here's the plan. I cut just some 2x2 squares out of some scrap. We are going to melt those together. And digging around in the parts bin, I found a couple old shock tabs I had cut off of something else. And we're going to basically do like that, melt it all together, and we'll have ourselves some pivots. Pretty straightforward. On stuff like this, you don't have to overthink it. Like, all it's got to do is pivot. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be anything insane. It just has to work. Alright, got the metal glue gun, hot metal glue gun fired up. Have that. We're gonna let that one cool. Knock out the other one right quick, and then we'll start laying stuff out. Oh yeah! Hey, look at that. It's pretty cool. I'd say it works pretty well. I'm gonna set y'all back down. All right, so I found this section of, it's actually an old gate, but it's got a 2x3 rectangle tube top piece, and I dug these old suspension links out of the corner of the shop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to match that one up there, or I'm going to take these two, I'm going to cut them down to make my arch, and then we'll put this across the top with probably some reinforcements because it's only like 1/8 inch wall. So we'll have to probably put a piece of angle or something across the back just to stiffen it up. So let's get all this stuff chopped up. So the cool thing about cutting a 2x2 square tube on a 45 is that it gets really close to being a 2x3. So you can take something like this, right? And then you can just put but a piece of 2x3 going across, which is what we're going to do. So I'm going to make one more of these to copy this for the other side, and then we'll get some, maybe some tack welds put on, and maybe some rough measurements measured. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, got our kind of upright, kind of 45-ish pieces put into place. So it's gonna go something like that. We'll have to, I don't know, shim this one up, or I don't know, we'll figure that out. But let's get some tack welds on all this. Get tacking. All right, 45 and a half. All right, got the arch, the middle of the arch where it needs to be. I'm gonna clamp it in place and start welding it out. Woo. Sweet. Well, I've got to stop my progress, not your progress. I've got to stop my progress right here. So I'm going to hit all this with just some weld-through primer. It's going to have to sit for a couple days, and I just don't want a bunch of, like, surface rust. I mean, obviously this is already all rusty, but I'm on dad duty this weekend, so probably no welding progress. Probably not much welding progress till next week. So we're going to hit all this with all these joints with a nice quick coat of weld-through primer right quick. And then, so when you see me next, we'll be welding. At least next week the weather is supposed to be super nice. Hey, you're still recording. Is he gonna clear the house? Son of a biscuit. The right size wrench for the job. This is the metric. Oh wait, that's the standard version, yeah. How could I forget? Take the bind out of it and it does pretty good. Let's get it flipped over. Yeah, let's get it flipped over and we'll burn that other side together. Nailed it. I got two of the sides, the kind of the front and back, if you will. Not really the outside or the underneath part. It's not making much sense. But I got those welds ground down because that is where we're going to be attaching some strengthening plates or fish plates, or I don't know. I've always called them fish plates, but we gotta make some of those. So we've got 8 we're gonna do, 2, 4 on one side, 4 on the other. So let's find some, I don't know, what do we need? Cardboard or something? So let's find some let's find something we can use. We'll be right back. I got me a box of Dr. Pepper, probably the single best thing to come out of the state of Texas in my opinion. As an Okie, I'm allowed to say that. Buc-ee's. I'll give you Buc-ee's too. I like Buc-ee's a lot. This will be easier over the welding table. Let's go over there. I'll show you what's up. So 8 inches by 3 inches. And we're going to come over here and mark. We're going to mark the middle. So see the line I drew in the middle? Let me show you why I did that. So I drew this line in the middle to kind of line up our piece here. Right, so we'll cut this out of like some 3/16 plate and we'll be able to burn it in all the way around. And it'll be super strong. Let's make one for this other side too. Zero sugar is my favorite, by the way. Same thing here. This one's a little easier. This one's a little easier because the both tubes are kind of the same dimensions. So you see that'll fit just like that. We're able to burn the whole thing in. Money. Got all the gussets laid out where they go. They cut out nicely. I used the plasma cutter on some. I used the new metal cut saw on some. If you've seen the review, that's what we were doing. And anyways, I got everything all cleaned up. Got the weld bottle on. So let's get all this burnt in. Well, somehow yesterday it got dark on me when I was finishing up welding. That happens when the sun goes down, apparently. So today we're going to keep working on the material arch, but we're going to wrap it up. After I get all these gusset plates buffed down with a flap disc, we're going to weld on this big piece of angle, right? So for the verticals and the diagonals, we use 2x2 1/4-inch wall stuff. But the piece of 2x3 tube we used in the middle, it's only 1/8 inch wall, so it's a little bit lighter duty. And I'm hoping that by adding this, so that we'll drill a hole here in the middle and run a big clevis through it for the winch to pull apart against. And on the back side, the actual lifting side, we'll burn in another D-ring. Should be nice and strong, should be nice and beefy. All right, back over here at the welding table, and all right, so this is the piece we're gonna use. It's pretty rusty, pretty crusty, so we gotta clean this up. One, so we can weld on it, and two, so we can have some paint put on it. But there are a couple things we're gonna do. I'm gonna nip these corners off, just sharp corners on something that's like basically gonna be at head level at sometimes. Not smart. So I'm gonna cut some 45s in this, or let's cut some angle in this, so that we don't have the sharp. So I'm going to cut some sort of angle in this, probably 45, so that we just don't have a sharp corner that's going to dome somebody. And then we'll have to drill probably a 1-inch hole through this 3/8 plate. I think it's 3/8. It looks like 3/8. So we'll have to drill like a 1-inch hole out here in the middle for our clevis to go through. We'll do that at the drill press, for sure. But first, more grinding to get it cleaned up. Well, on the arch here, I've got the piece we just welded up, or you got the, and I'd say, yep, that'll do. So what we're gonna do now is, this is a little bit too much of a breeze, and yesterday when I was welding the gussets on, I got a lot of porosity just because the wind was blowing the gas around. So we're gonna stick weld it, and we're just gonna use some 1/8 inch 6011 rods in the Harbor Freight cheapo depot DC Chicago Electric DC inverter welder, set on, I don't know, 80, 100 amps, whatever it goes to, and we're just gonna burn them in. So let's go. Alright, got the angle burned in there really good. Went over everything twice, and should be strong enough. If that breaks, I've got much bigger problems. Next step, also I spray bombed the mounts here, and so we're gonna put those in. I did end up getting a couple 5/8 hitch pins to so that I don't have to worry about like a nut and bolt shaking loose, and you know, this will be way better, way easier to remove and stuff. So anyways, we're gonna get this plopped into place, all hooked up, and then we're gonna spray bomb it with, we're gonna all put it into place, and then we're gonna spray bomb it with this gloss red. It's a moving part. I don't want to, it's gonna be about head height at times, and I want people to be able to see it. I'm people, I want to be able to see it. So we're gonna hit it with some gloss, call it safety red. And then, you know, let it dry overnight and see what it looks like tomorrow. Should be good. Well, like most things that get painted in the driveway, it looks good from about 15 feet away. I'm not going to show you any close-up pictures of the runs that the paint made, or the overspray, because it should be criminal what you can do with spray cans. That is going to do it for the material lifting arch until we go use it. I'm going to show you how to use it at the end of the video, so make sure to stick around. Doesn't look like it because the camera helps, but it's getting dark. Tomorrow night we're going to work on something else, and that's going to be... Next step on the project is we're going to do our drive over fenders. The 2 attempts that I've made in the past have not been very good. The tube fenders on this side worked okay, but they ate up a lot of real estate, right? So inch and 3/4 tubing times 2, you know, you're losing 3 to 4 inches of width on your trailer. And the other side with the 1x3 rectangle tube, it just looked horrible. So what we're going to do next is we're going to remove those, and then we're going to bust the plasma cutter out, and we're going to cut some 1/8 inch plate to sandwich the inside of the fenders, right? So I think it's already like 1/8 inch plate fenders, or 1/8 inch fenders. They're already pretty heavy. A long time ago I drove a vehicle over them, and it did a little bit of damage, but really not that much. I think if we add some plate to the inside and then run a support in the middle between the 2 tires out of, you know, some angle or some tubing that we've got laying around, whatever we do, it's going to make it so that I'll be able to drive over them with the Jeep, and they should last a very long time. So let's get started. First thing we gotta do is cut this old stuff off. Got all of the old drive over fenders off. Looks pretty good, I'd say. I mean, no worse for wear overall. And so next up, I want to show you just this little bit, right? So I showed you the one fender that's a little damaged. Well, as I was getting the tube off of that side and looking at it, we might have an issue, but I got to show you a little closer. All right, it might be a little hard to see with the GoPro lens, so I'm going to show you, because it's kind of wide angle. I'm going to show you with the other lens here. Probably a little hard to see with the GoPro, but this is just a little bit caved in right here. So right here where my hand is, it kind of like rolls up. So it's kind of dense, kind of smushed. So we got a couple options, since we really need to smush this flat, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. The top of it got pushed down, which kind of like pinched it like this. So I don't know what we're going to do. Let me go check the scrap metal pile and see what I can find. Right. I've got a plan. I don't know how good of a plan it is, but it is a plan. It's going to look a little funky, I think, but that'll be fine. It'll all work out the way it's supposed to. I found this sheet of 3/16 plate, but it is not big enough to stretch. I don't have enough material to completely plate the whole inner fender on both sides. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut 4 arches. Basically everything that way and everything that way. And we're gonna really gusset up both corners, fronts, arches, roundy spots. I don't know, whatever you want to call them, the front and the back part. This middle part we're gonna leave open, but right here is going to be a piece of 3" by 3" angle iron. We'll cut it down to about 36 inches roughly, and that will help bridge this middle section so the middle section doesn't get caved in. Also, on the flip side of this, underneath, we'll put a brace to come up and land about here in the middle, so that like if the Jeep tire or whatever gets too far out, it won't curl it won't smash the fender down. Maybe not the most elegant of solutions, but it does have one added benefit, is that I have a couple extra D-rings, like we've welded on the rest of the trailer, and that will allow me to put a D-ring right here, so that if I've got something in the middle I need to have an anchor point to, I can have a D-ring or something, right? So I think that's going to be the best solution for the material I have on hand. So I'm going to get the plasma cutter fired up. I got to charge the air compressor, fill the air compressor up, and then I'm going to make a template, probably out of some I've got some thin wood. I'm going to make a nice template that I can use to really, so I don't have to freehand it. Because if I freehand it, it's going to look bad, real bad. And nobody wants that. Also, I need to straighten this side up a little bit, and we're probably going to do that with a sledgehammer, much to my neighbor's dislike. But it is what it is. Do some percussive mechanics and make it work. So that's the plan. Let's hit this with this, I guess, pull this tire off right quick, and then I'll start hitting it with a sledgehammer, because why not? I mean how much worse could I make the situation by hitting it with a hammer? I mean, it's still a little wavy, but dang. Shoo! Alright, it's another day here at Project Central, and we've got some pieces cut to help make our drive over fenders possible. Alright, so we've got our 1x3 tube. This was on the top, but I cut these pieces down to 20 inches, and I'm gonna slide this up under the fender right here. And then we're gonna take our little standoffs we cut, weld those on here, and we're gonna put a tube. We're gonna take a piece of tube to go between the tires, and this is really gonna help anytime we've got any weight out here. And then after we're done welding all this up, we're gonna take a piece of 3x3 by 1/4 inch angle iron and run across the top. And then after we get it all burnt in, we will spray bomb it like we've been doing the whole time. So let's get these put in place and you know, hopefully have some fenders that will stand up to the test of time. I don't think that they are going to necessarily have to be like super heavy duty with the 3x3 angle on the inside and supporting it just so they don't get crushed. That should be plenty for a vehicle to drive over them. Most of the time, I probably will have to be careful with staying on the inside of the fender, right? Like not pushing the limits too far, but it'll be fine, I hope. So anyways, let's get this all burned in. Okay, got the everything done on this side. Show you a quick view. Right, so I didn't have enough material to infill all of this. So this piece of 3x3 1/4 inch angle should be strong enough to span the weight of a vehicle without crushing the fender. And like I said earlier, it gave me a nice spot to put a D-ring. And underneath, it's kind of hard to see, underneath we got our little bump out right here, tube, and then there's a, oh, it's dark. And we got that piece of 1x3 tubing going across it. So this should be quite a bit stronger. I don't know if it's like drive a monster truck on it, but for now I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna go knock out the other side right quick, blast it with a little bit of spray paint, and then we're gonna mount our winch, so stay tuned. All right, did some more testing. I think my winch motor or something in there is totally locked up. Put the power leads straight to the battery and nothing happens. Not even a click, nothing. So I bought a new winch. Let me go grab it. The other day I picked up this Badlands 5,000. The other day I picked up this Badlands 5,000 pound winch. This is like an ATV winch, like one of the big ATV winches. It'll be perfectly fine for the trailer. So we're gonna get this old boat anchor off and see what it takes to get this new one installed. All right, I'm gonna get all this picked up for the night, but at some point tomorrow morning, we're gonna finish everything up. We're gonna go on a little adventure, and I'll give you a final overview on the trailer. All right, getting back out here to my dad's house where I keep my trailer, and I'm gonna say we are pretty close to what I would consider fully done. There's a couple little last minute things I gotta do. Can't figure out why my trailer brake controller on the truck isn't working. Tried to trace some wires this morning, that didn't work. But I wanna show you why I went through all this effort on this trailer, because like I said, we've got some land that we bought. I'll show you a shot of that now. And we've got some pipe fence we gotta build. Since I'm generally a one-man show, I built this lifting arch. So I'm gonna show you how it works right now. All right, remember all the pipes we talked about at the very first video, right? We're gonna see what it takes to get these loaded up. This is some old drill pipe, but a lot of this is like 4 and 6 inch pipe. And we're gonna load it onto the trailer using our lifting arch. So let's get it flopped around, and I'm gonna get the winch hooked up to it and show you how it works. Got everything set up. We're gonna I'll show you the first piece of pipe we're gonna load up. It's gonna be this 4 inch. And once we get it on the trailer, I'll measure, see how long it actually is. This is a piece of 4 inch right here. This has been a project. Holy smokes, let's go talk about it. All right, back here at the garage, and it's been a couple months since we finished rebuilding the trailer. Gotta say, it takes me a long time to edit videos, so sometimes things take a while. But the trailer rebuild has been pretty flippin' epic and excellent. In the past couple of months, I've used it to get materials for the fence. I'll show you a quick video here of me loading up a full stick of 12-inch pipe by myself using the loading arch, the material lifting arch, whatever we're calling it now. Man, it's been really good. You know, I'm hopefully going to use this in the future as a culvert for my property that we're building. I've hauled fence materials. I'm gonna go get some more fence materials from a buddy this weekend. I've hauled project cars. I've hauled other materials. Moved cars around. Used the winch. Nah, Jeep's flopping around the driveway. Tarp on the Jeep's flopping around the driveway. Use the winch to move vehicles around. I had to pull the teal Jeep out, put it in the driveway, hauled the red Jeep out to the land, messed around with the Trailblazer a little bit, got this Miata I'm sitting in right now, and it has just been excellent. For the longest time, I really severely neglected the trailer, and after fixing up, redecking it, sealing the wood, servicing all the bearings, what should we do? We added some more stake pockets, some D-rings, some E-track, fixed the trailer brakes, added the new winch, built the material loading arch, did the metal dovetail on the back, did the strip down the middle to help protect it when you're winching stuff on. We have done so much work to this thing, and it has turned out excellent. This is a trailer that I am excited to have in the next, 5 or 10 years coming up. I might have to redeck it in about, 10 years maybe. We'll see. But it has been so good. So if you have an old trailer, hopefully this gave you some ideas on, upgrades you can do in the future. And if so, let me know down in the comments, because I love talking to you guys in the comments. So hope that helps. I'm going to do a little montage here at the end just to show where we started and where we ended up along the way. So this has been great. And do what you always do. Take care of one another, and I'll see you next time. Maybe we'll be using the trailer. Maybe we'll be working on something else. But whatever we're doing, it's going to be a good project over here at Project Central. Bye.